So this is a continuation of lesson 3. So we call it lesson 4, but remember it's a continuation of the other lesson. So we were talking about the employment income. Now you are supposed to deduct now the employment benefit. Sorry, house benefit. So house we are supposed to consider now house benefit. We are supposed to add the house benefit. Now house benefit is remember it is 15% of the employment income to 790, 500. And then we also consider the market value. We are told that the market value was 50,000. Remember, we are told that the market value was 50,000 times 12. Then once you have these two items, each item you less the nominal rent. Nominal rent. And from the question where they said that the nominal rate was 5% of the basic salary, 5% of the basic salary, which is 2016,000. So once we have that figure, we can say it is 0.15 times 2790, 500, 418, 418, 575. Remember, we less the nominal rent, 0.05 times 2016,000. So nominal rent is 100, 800. So minus 100, 800. Then the other one is 50,000 times 12, which is 600,000. But remember, we also less the nominal rent, 10,000. It is the nominal rent. We are supposed to less it. You hapo juu. So that tunapata, so minus 10, 800, 499, 200. Remember, you're supposed to pick the higher. 418, 575, 800, 317, 775. So the higher is 499, 200. So that we get pensionable income. Pensionable income. So 2790, 500 plus 499, 200, which is 32, 32, 89, 700. Now we can less allowable deduction. Allowable deduction. And the only allowable deduction that we had ilikuwa tu ni moja, pension contribution. So it was pension contribution. So pension contribution, we consider 3 items. Pension contribution. The first one is the 30% of the pension income, 3289, 3289, 200. And then also we also consider the limit, the set limit, which is to 40,000. And then actual contribution. Actual contribution. So what was the actual contribution? So I'll contribute 15% of the basic salary. Actual contribution. 15% of 2016,000. So we compare the three. Then because it's a deduction, you pick the lower. So that's the only deduction that you have. You pick the lower. Once you get the lower, now we can get the total taxable income. There's no any other item. You can get the there is. We have other income. So tutafanya hadi hapo kwanza. So 0.3 times 32, 89, 700, which is 986, 910, 986, 910. 0.15 times 2016,000. 302, 4, and we pick the lower. The lower is to 40,000. I think I need to go to the other side. So tutapata ngapi? So 32, 89, 700 minus answer. Then is 2,090,987, 300. So we add other income. Add other income. The first one is rental income. Na kwa sababu hajatuambia kama ni commercial residential, we assume that is withholding tax is final to make our work easier. Okay, for dash. Then now we can check the others. Tulikuwa na dividend from where? Tulikuwa na information number 9 tumemalizana nayo. Number 10, you have dividend from cooperative society. Dividend from cooperative society. From cooperative society. Is it cooperative? Yes, 306,000. Now remember it is net. So kumaanisha wameshatoa, but we need the gross amount. So that one is this one 306 represent 85%. Kwa sababu ni net. Net kumaanisha wameshatoa without tax ya 15%. So tukitoa 15% ni 85. So we need the gross amount. Because of the net. So that one without tax is not final. Withholding tax is not final. $360,000. We have another form of dividend. Dividend from bank. Dividend from bank. From bank. That one we know that withholding tax is final. So the final, or it is qualifying or non-qualifying. So unaweka hapo, so we get the total taxable income. So total taxable income, so tunachukua this one 29,87,300. We add 360,000. So it's 3,347,300. So tax payable. So let's compute the tax payable. Tax payable. What we can do now, on first, we know it is 288,000. Rate is 10%, which is 28,800. On second, on the next, najua ni 100,000. So that's the 280. That one is the difference between. Kena pale juu kwa hiyo table yetu pale juu. Pale kwa hiyo table yetu pale juu ni 388 minus 288, which is 100,000. The rate is 25%. Tupatie 25,000. Then on next. Now on next one tuambie ni 6,000. So kumaanisha 6,000, this amount is more than 6,000, is less than 6,000, so inaishia hapo. So tunachukua ile 33,47,300 minus 100,000 minus 288,000, which is 29,59,300. Then the rate is 30%. So times 0.3, which is 887,790. So we add to get the total liability, total tax liability, plus 25,000 plus 28,800, 941,590. 941,590. Now we can less the pay. Pay ilikuwa ngapi? Let me go to the question. Alikuwa anauliza nini? Sorry, imepotea tena. So they told us to compute. Yes, so pay, we need to less pay. So pay yetu ni 48,000 times 12. So we less pay first. 48,000 times 12. So 48,000 times 12. 576,000. We less withholding tax. So the only withholding tax ilikuwa ni here ya COP ni 15% of the gross amount, which is 360,000. So 0.15 times 360,000, which is 54,000. Personal relief. This one is personal relief, which is 28,800. Then you also will less another relief, yeah, 15% of the insurance contribution, life insurance. This one 57,600, 57,600. But you can compare with the limit anyway. I just again see like a limit, but you can compare with the limit. Then you pick the lower. Mostly the limit inakuanga ngapi? The limit inakuanga, maximum limit inakuanga 60,000. Maximum limit. But remember it was only for 4 months. So remember it was only for 4 months. It was only for 4 months. So insurance, let me check the limit. Maximum inakuanga to 40,000. Not to 40 actually. What am I saying? Copy nini yangu, nataka niangalie hapa. Iko wapi hiyo? Relief. 5,000 per month. So 5,000 per month. So you compare with the two. The other one is 5,000 per month. The other one is for 4 months. So inakupatia 20,000. So you pick the lower. So 0.15 times 57,600. 8640. So the lower one is 8640. So total tax payable. So inakuwa 941,590 minus 576,000 minus 54,000 minus 28,800 minus 8640. So we have kulipa tax ya 274,150. That total amount of tax alikuwa Solomon Chachi should pay. So that's the total amount of tax that Solomon Chachi should pay. So let's go to the final question. April 2023, question number 3. See, this will be the final. April 2023. April 2023. The question is question number 3C about Oscar. 3C. The question is about Oscar. I think that will be the final question. That will be the final question for that lesson. So let us do it together. So let us do this one for Oscar Ebala. It's an employee of IT company. That's the question for April 2023. April 2023, question number 3C. So he was entitled for basic salary of 120,000 per annum. Net pay to 50. Net pay to 50. So we add the two. So net pay to 50. So we add the two. So one. So aitwa Oscar Ebala. So Ebala, computation of employment income. For the year. For the year 31st December 2022. 31st December 2022. So start with the basic salary. So basic salary ni 1.2. So 1,200,000. So we need to add the pay to 50,000. 50,000, then you multiply with the 12. So we'll claim a 1.2. So plus 250,000 times 12. So you have to purchase 17, 400,000. Now we add the benefit. We add the benefit. So we add the benefits. The first benefit. Actually, this question, ziko per annum. Actually, this question ziko in per annum. They are in per annum. So 1200 plus 250. 1,450,000. Then we have the benefit. So the first benefit, we have a motor vehicle 2600 cc. We start with that one. Motor vehicle 2600 cc. So tuenda pale juu kwa ile skidu yetu, tuenda kuangalia kwa 2600 cc. Per annum ni 103,200. 103,200. Then we compare with the cost. So wanatuambia the cost was 2.8. The cost was 2.8 from 1st August. So that one was from 1st August. Kumbuka inaisha December. So August, September, October, November. So that is for 5 months. So kumaanisha hii is not correct. We need to put in months. So tunaenda tutarudi kwa table yetu pale juu kwanza. Tuseme per month 2600 cc ni 8600. 8600 per month times 5. Tujua mimi ni ngapi per month? 43,000. We compare with the other one, then we take the higher. So we compare with the cost, which is the cost inakuwa ngapi per month for motor vehicle? Motor vehicle inakuanga the cost inakuanga, let me confirm, inakuanga 24%. So 24%, lakini sasa kumaanisha hapa tutaenda na because ni monthly, tutaenda 2% times 5 months. Then the cost ni ngapi? So the cost of that item, ni ngapi? Iko wapi? Imepotea tena. 2.8. So 0.02 times 5 times 2,800,000 to 80,000. So you pick the higher. The higher is to 80,000. So the higher is to 80,000. Kutoka hapo, tunaenda to the next item. Information number 3. Setting allowance for attending a university meeting at a head office amounting to 120,000. 120,000, out of which 30% was in relation to the budget to the travel cost incurred between January to July. The amount was paid in January 2023. January 2020. The amount was paid in January 2023. So city allowance, out of which 30%. So kumaanisha 70% that ndio ilikuwa ililipwa during that year, 70%. So we shall consider the one that was paid. So sitting allowance, so 70% was paid within the year. So we shall consider that one of 120,000. 120,000. So 0.7 times 120,000. 84,000. 84,000 hiyo tumemaliza hivyo. The employer provided him with a house where he lived up to 30th June 2022. The market value was 45,000 per month, and he contributed 10,000 per month to the rent. That's house benefit. We shall consider that house benefit later. He moved to his residential house where he purchased using house saving host, where he contributed 8,000 per month up to that is June 2022. He also obtained a mortgage from a SACCO up to a saving from host. For the 6 month up to that December 2026, he paid the 60,000 inclusive of the interest. So kumbuke, we need to consider the interest on mortgage, which is allowable deduction. And pia pale juu kwa host, also the host, we have the deduction. It's a deduction, allowable deduction, appear the interest on mortgage. Technology SACCO paid him to 40 net dividends. That's an income, and interest of 40,000 gross on his deposit. So we have that one is an income. Shall consider it later. The following deduction were made during from his salary. So family life insurance premium was made from his salary. That one we're not going to consider it. Uh, uh, um, so the following deduction were made from his salary during the year. Were made from his salary, kumaanisha walikata kwa salary yake. So that's not a benefit. So that is not a benefit. That is not a benefit. So all those items there, they are not benefits. We have contribution to a register scheme, subscription to ICT association. That's allowable deduction. We shall consider it later. He enrolled an online cyber certification course, and the employer paid the fees of 60,000. So hiyo tunaweka online cyber course. So employer alimlipia ngapi? 60,000. Hii Soifarika works for 19 consultancy where he received. So hapa kuna pia wife where he received base salary of 6,000 per month and other benefit. Medical allowance of 15,000 per month. The farm medical scheme is for senior. She worked out of office for 7 days and he received a subsistence allowance of 7,000 per day. So out of office, hiyo ni per diem. She attended 1 week training. The employer paid 120,000. Other income comprised of the following. Oscar Oriba and his wife have traditional tax filing separate. So tuna consider separate. Now, turudi sasa tunaweza fanya ya wife. So I think ya huyu tumemalizana nayo. So but we need to consider the house benefit. We need to consider the house benefit because there's no any other thing. So house benefit. So let's compute house benefit. But before we go to house benefit, we have mortgage. We have mortgage. Nimeona mortgage that was paid by the employer. Mortgage paid by the employer. That's a benefit. That's a benefit. So how much was paid by the employer? That's a benefit. Information number 5. On 1st July 2022, he moved to his residential house, which he purchased using a house savings ownership plan, where he contributed 8,000 per month up to 30th June 2022. He obtained a mortgage loan from Technology SACCO to up to a saving house. For the 6 months up to December, he paid that 6,000 inclusive of interest. Half of the amount was reimbursed by the employer. So alirudishiwa. So 360,000 divided by 2. So 360,000. So of the mortgage loan. Nakumbuka ni for many month. For the 6 months up to December 2022, he paid the 60,000. So alikuwa amelipa. So half of it ni ngapi? Ni 180. So divided by 2. So 180,000. So 180,000 was reimbursed back. So itakuwa ni 1450 plus 280 plus 84 plus 60 plus 180, which is 254,000. Then we consider the house benefit, because before anunue nyumba yake alikuwa amepatiwa nyumba. So before he purchased the house alikuwa amepewa nyumba. That information number 4. The employer provided him with the house up to 30th June. So alikaa from January, February, March, April, May, June. So alikaa for 6 months. So remember alikaa kwa month for 6 months. So tunaanza na the value. So house benefit itakuwa 50% of 254,000. And remember to raise the, and then tuko na hiyo ingine market value. Market value information number 4 ni 45,000 times 4. Then we less nominal rent. Remember it's for 6 months times 6/12. Haya, nominal rent watuambia ni ngapi? So alikuwa analipa rent ya 10,000 per month. Alika 4. So 10,000 times 4, which is 40,000. So 45,000 times 4, 180,000. And then 0.15 times 20, 54,000 times 6/12, 154,050. Now we less the nominal rent to each. So minus 40,000. So hii itakuwa ni 114,050. Na hii to less nominal rent 180 minus 40, 140,000. So we pick the higher, which is 140,000. Then pensionable income. So 54,000 plus 140,000, 2,194,000. Then ukishafanya hivyo, now we can less allowable deduction. So was there any, kulikuwa na nini, pension contribution? So tunaanza na pension contribution. Ilikuwa the first one, pension contribution. So 30% of 21,94,000. So 0.3 times answer 650,200. Haya, actual contribution. Okay, before tuangalie walilipa wakati walikuwa nalipa. Kumbuka actual contribution is to 40,000. So let's go to pension contribution. Number 7 ana contribute 300,000. So number 7, 300,000. So information number 7. Kuna mali hapo naona 300,000. And then actual limit, ama set limit to 40,000. You pick the lower. So you pick the lower, which is to 40,000. And then you have contribution to ICT. Hiyo ndio field yake, professional. Then will be a deduction which is allowable, 16,000. 16,000. Alafu now we can consider another item another item which is now the HOSP na mortgage. HOSP na mortgage. So let us see. So information number 5. So he moved to his residential house which he purchased using a home ownership scheme where he contributed 8,000 per month up to January 2022. So you know how many months? January, February, March, April, May, June. That is 6 months. So HOSP 80,000 times 6. 80,000 times 6, which is 48,000. Do we have the set limit for HOSP? I think we have a set limit. Let me see if I can. For HOSP. Set limit is 48,000 per month. Set limit is 48,000 per month. So kumaanisha you consider the set limit. Set limit is 48,000 per year. Sorry, 48,000 per year divided by 12 times 6, so that you can get per. So then you will consider the lower. So 48,000 per year divided by 12 times 6, 24,000. So kumaanisha hapa itakuwa 24,000. That will be 24,000. Haya, tukishafanya hiyo, tubakisha mwisho ni mortgage. No, mortgage iko hapo pia. You also obtain a mortgage to top his savings. For 6 months up to September 2023, he paid 360,000. So, but remember the mortgage interest. We are considering the mortgage interest. So the interest is a allowable deduction, which is 100,000. For those 6 months, I require an interest of 100,000. Then set limit is 300,000 per month per year. So set limit is 300,000 per year. So we multiply with 6. So 300,000 times 6, 150,000. So you take the lower. So the lower is 100,000. There's no anything else. Kulingana na huyu jamaa hakuna kitu kingine, kwa sababu yetu uliona yake imefika information number 8 where he another an online course na ndio alimlipia. So we can get now total personal income. Then we add other incomes. Now before we add other incomes, let us find. So 2194 minus 240 minus 16 minus 24 minus 100, 1814,000. So we can now add other incomes. So the only other income available in information number 6. The technology paid him to 24,000 net dividend on shares and interest of 40,000 gross on his deposit. So all those two items, the withholding tax is final. So there is no any other income. So no any other income. So utaandika tu dividend na interest. Useme withholding tax final. Na weke dash. Then we get the total employment income. Total employment income. So itakuwa ni 1814,000. I think tumemaliza hivyo. That is all. So that is all about it. That is all about it. So hiyo tumemaliza hivyo. I think there is no any other thing. There is no any other item. So we can do for the wife before we prepare the amount of tax. We can prepare for the wife. Can prepare for the wife. So your wife inasema hivi. For information number 9 now. So so Eric so into Ebala Eric computation of employment income for the year 31st December 2022. Basic salary. So basic salary yake according to that one 60,000. So I receive 60,000. So times 12. Then we add benefits. So we add the benefits. The first benefit which I can see is the medical allowance. So medical scheme. Now hii medical scheme tukiangalia wanatuambia so ina cover senior employees, so discriminatory. So kama discriminatory lazima itaksiwe 15,000 per month. So 15,000 times 12. So 15,000 times 12. 180,000. That's a benefit. She worked out of office for 7 days. I received 7,000. So per diem 7,000. The maximum limit is 3,000. I work for 5 days. So 7,000. 24,000 times 5, which is 20,000. So per diem, the maximum limit is 3,000. So anything above 3,000 is taxable. So the 4,000 is beyond 3,000. So it is taxable. Yeah. It's for 7 days. It was for 7 days. So kumaanisha hapa ni 24 per diem. Training. I attend training. Training. The employer paid for him. For her, sorry. 120,000. 120,000. Other income comprised of the following. So hiyo tumeshamaliza. So total income, so ana nyumba anakaa kwa bwana yake. So total employment income yake inaishia hapo. So ana house benefit, so 720 plus 180 plus 24 plus 120 is 1044,000. So no house benefit, so tunaachana nayo. Then we add other income. So yeah, hata contribute kwa pension. So add other income. So the other income in yako now we have ICT. Now we have royalties. So ICT and royalties. Hiyo ni ngapi? So hiyo ni royalties na kwanga 5%. So tunaanza na hii part-time consultancy. Now we have royalties. So tunafaa kwa gross amount. So royalties is 5%. Royalties is supposed to be 5%. So hii yake ilikuwa ni loss, so the gross amount was a loss. We're just going to add the loss. Then the royalties wametuambia ni net, so kumbuke net imetolewa, so wametoa 5%, so kumaanisha 95,000 is equal to 95%. What about 100%? So ilikuwa 95,000 times 100 divided by 95, which is 100,000. So total taxable income, ilikuwa ngapi? So 1044 minus 120 plus 100, which is 1024,000. So from hapo you can compute now the taxpayer paid using the graduated scale. So for the on the first, next and next and next. So now calculate ukando, so tax payable. So I'm not going to calculate tax payable. So kindly do that one. So you do for this one 14,000. You do for that one 14,000, and also you do for this one kando. Then utajua the tax to be paid by each, the two people. So you do it. So that one, do it please. So I think that one you can do it. So hizo unafanya kando kando, all those utafanya kando kando. So that one marks the end of that class. So siku nataka ikue na mambo mingi sana. So hiyo tumemaliza hivyo, hiyo nimemaliza hivyo, hiyo nimemaliza hivyo. So haya, hiyo tumemaliza. So the training, hebu go back to training. Nani alipa hiyo training? Training ya huyu Mathe. Sheria 1 week training overfitted, the employer paid the 120. So that's a benefit. So employer imulipia. Sawa sawa. So that one marks the end of that lesson. That one marks the end of that lesson.